Kaisho, ohayou gozaimasu. My name is Mark Diaz, and I'm here to present to you my RAISE project for the summer of 2020. Hello there, my name is Mark Diaz, and I'm proud to present to you my RAISE summer project for the summer of 2020. My project surrounds the stories of political dissidents of the Basque people and the Japanese samurai of the Akko domain, dating back throughout the centuries from medieval Japan to the modern occurrences which are going on today in Euskal Herria in northern Spain, the Basque country. I hope you enjoy my presentation. Most of the facts revolve around tracing the identity of these unique cultures, understanding their honor codes and why it is so wrong that these people were treated unjustly by their governments for something that they were born with the understanding that it was correct. So please go through these slides. If you have any questions, you can always reach me. I have information at the end of the PowerPoint, and I hope you enjoy. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. As we continue, we look at the story of the 47 Vascos, the 47 Basques, a group made up of members of Herrera, Jaikiari, Echerat, which are all prison rights organizations, and a collection of lawyers who were all convicted, tried, and treated as terrorists by the Spanish government because of their political advocacy for family members of alleged terrorists and for their perseverance in the realm of prison rights activism. In Spain, there is mass injustice occurring amongst these people who are all being treated as terrorists for crimes which they have not committed. ETA is the militaristic terrorist institution of the Basque country, which originated during the Francoist regime because of its oppression against the Basque people. It has since been destroyed since 2011. It is no longer in existence in any capacity as of 2018. However, all these people are tried and convicted as ETA affiliates, even though it no longer exists. Why does this occur? Well, that's what we're trying to get down to the bottom of. Fueros, the laws of the Basque. The Basque have had these ancestral laws dating back for thousands of years. This account originates from 1526, the law of Vizcaya. Vizcaya is one of the original provinces of the Basque country, located in modern-day Basque Autonomous Community of northern Spain, along with Gipuzkoa and Araba. South of that is the other Basque country, state of Navarra, and north of that is the French-owned portion of the Basque country, known as Iparralde. So the Basque have had a long tradition of law codes and about honoring them throughout the years, even when they were owned by different countries such as the Reina de Navarra, or even many of the Spanish lords of Castile and Aragon. The tradition was that all lords would gather underneath the tree of Guernica in Vizcaya and take the sacred oath and pledge that they would honor the laws of the Basque. Many of them important, involving land rights, distribution to the firstborn child to ensure the continuation of the paseri or the farmhouse, centralized taxation, parliamentary government, and the right of self-determination, which is what's caused them so much grief and strife underneath the different regimes of Spain. One of the important ones which is being denied to the 47 Herrian, the 47 people tried, who is the focus of this presentation, was in Section 7, Law 1, that the Biscayans, in the first instance, cannot be removed from Vizcaya. The greatest crime that these people are facing is that they are being taken out of the Basque country to serve their sentences. The Basque have the right to choose ancestrally what prison they would serve at. And the fact that they are no longer being allowed this right, which is theirs, is what's creating so much issues between the Basque government, and of course the government of España. The dispersion policy of the Spanish government is to separate and isolate these Basque people. So they lose their supporters, they lose connections with their family, and they are alone and stricken with grief. It's really horrible, actually, that many of these Basque prisoners, as you can see, who are spread sporadically throughout Spain, 1 or 2 or 3 in every little corner, to get them as far away from the Basque country as possible, to make it really hard for their parents to visit them, for family to reach out, for the institutions that we're talking about, such as Ejarat, which are all about prison advocacy, to reach out and ensure that they're being well taken care of during their sentences. It has just become increasingly difficult, according to some accounts, costing families thousands of euros annually just to visit them, not even to pay for their lawyers and pay for their supporters and everywhere else. So it's a very, very difficult time in Basque country. And the platform that the Basque are fighting on currently is Euskal Presoak, Euskal Herria, which means Basque prisoners, bring them home to Euskadi. They're not saying for all prisoners to be released, as is sometimes wrongfully understood under the term anestia osoa, but they're asking that the Basque have their ancestral right of being held in prisons of their own choosing in their own country. And the next story that we're going to look at is the 47 Ronin Chushingura. So Chushingura is a very famous Japanese tale of medieval origin following the Ako clan led by Asano Naganori. So for unseen circumstances, Asano Naganori was killed by Kira Yoshinaka. And because of this, his samurais were all released from their duty, and they became what's known as Ronin, masterless samurai. And in Japan, there's a whole honor culture about vengeance, honoring your ancestors, and loyalty to your Daimyo, your leader of the samurai. So these 47 Ronin set out to seek vengeance and avenge the death of Asano by assassinating Kira Yoshinoka, the man who killed him. And after this, they turned themselves in to authorities and all committed seppuku, ritual Japanese suicide. So all of this is based on the ancient principles of Bushido, the way of the warrior. And major tenets of this involve many varied things, such as calmness, fairness, justice, respect. It is a true honor culture. But one of the important laws of it is loyalty to one's master. And it's about doing whatever it takes to honor the life and legacy of those who came before you. So because of this firm honor culture, the Japanese members of the Asano clan of Akao domain sought retribution for the death of their daimyo. And they did so even though they knew it would cost them their lives, because they did what they've always believed to be right. So my whole purpose with this research is to create a play which synthesizes the stories of political dissidence of both these cultures using their original art forms. Basically, we want to kind of understand how these law codes have existed, as their ancestral codes that have existed for hundreds to thousands of years, why they matter to the people, and why it is so wrong that these people are being treated as criminals unjustly by their governments. And we are going to see if we can figure out how justice can be served. So the different art forms that we're going to be looking at to create this play involve kabuki, which was founded in 1603 by Izumo no Okuni, a shrine maiden alongside the Kamo River. Kabuki is a classical medieval Japanese art which exploded in popularity due to its use of outrageous, flamboyant, and outrageous larger-than-life characters. Kabuki itself stems from three characters, ka, bu, and ki, which means song, dance, and acting skill, respectively, because kabuki is a total theater, a theater which involves all parts of the human body, all parts of the human spirit, to create amazing, outrageous shows. And at Pomona College, we have the longest history of staging Japanese theater authentically, kabuki, in the continental United States, thanks to Leonard Franco, recently deceased professor emeritus, who sort of brought the form to Pomona College in the 1960s. And the other form we're going to be looking at is Bertolaritza, or Basque improvised oral poetry. So it is sung in Euskera, the language of the Basque country, which is the oldest non-Indo-European indigenous language of Europe. It's been around for thousands of years, this tradition. It gained a lot of popularity in the medieval era by the Profesoriac, which are like female singers who would go from town to town singing these melodious songs as a form of mourning, as a form of cultural understanding and storytelling. It's really storytelling, rhymed and sung extemporaneously. It became much more popular in the beginning of the oppression eras following the Carlist War and later the Spanish Civil War, because it was a powerful form of connection to one's culture and one's ancestry, being sung in Euskera, the banned language of the Basque, banned by Franco regime and not allowed to be taught again in schools until the late 70s. So it became an underground network of oppression, fighting, empowerment. And so that's why these two art forms, which are all about outrageous, going against boundaries, women created, are here to sort of unite these stories of political dissidence in a way that is not only empowering, but is in and of itself an act of political defiance. How did we come about this play experience in the summer? What have we done to prepare ourselves? Well, I joined Playwrights Arena for a production with Professor Ortega, which was about 11 seconds, a Kid Kurosawa in Japanese style, an original play by Karen Huey, which is all about the creation of Asian fusion plays. By being a part of this production, I learned the ropes of how the playwriting process continues, how redrafts work, and understanding what it takes to combine the stories of an Eastern tradition with those of Western tradition to make it accessible and comprehensible for an English language speaking population. And here's a video excerpt from that production showing how we can create shows in this virtual era.
A screen plays a silent Japanese movie of the following scene.
A samurai must face every danger. But Isamu, you might be killed. It is the way of the samurai. I won't endure your absence. You must.
And that is the scene that we created as part of this final project. So it tells us that there are a lot of different methods that we can use to tell these Basque stories of political dissidence, coupling them with the ancestral and traditional ones of the Japanese nature. So this is an important quote, which I think will kind of lead us through the continued preservation and cultivation of this project. Because we want and need a lasting peace, and because we believe that it is time to construct another scenario, a Euskal Herria, in which we fit all and all, without forgetting the past, and with an eye directed towards the future. We understand that this new judicial process does nothing but open new wounds, Basque, which is a Japanese publishing company. And we see this image, which I think is really poignant, of wind turbines overlooking the ancient dolmen. The Basque are an ancestral people who have existed for 10,000s of years in their little corner of Iberia. They have never left, they have never gone astray. Their descendants have traveled and traversed the world, but a small portion of this population has remained in this little corner forever. And I think that's important that we let them stay there for as long as they want. We preserve their legacy, we honor their traditions, and we let them continue as the indigenous people of Iberia. So what I intend to do going forward with this project, I will continue to work on the play development now that I've put in the research to understanding what the crisis is, who the parties involved are. Throughout the semester, we'll be working on an independent study course. I founded a new theater company called Gamboa Theater, which pays homage to my ancestral Basque surname, Mark Gamboa Diaz. And you can access us at California Basque or gamboatheater@gmail.com. So we hope to continue this playwriting project and create something either virtually or in person, depending on when we get back to Pomona College, that will teach people of the conflict and express to them why it matters so much that these people of an indigenous nature have their culture and honor restored. Here's a list of sources to access what I use to create this PowerPoint presentation. Lastly, a special thanks, arigatou gozaimasu, and eskerrik asko to Nyaki Arietabaro of UNR, Nikki Gorel of Western Wyoming, Marina Perez de Mendiola of Scripps College, Professors Taylor, Hurtado Pearson, Lebhart, and my project advisor, Giovanni Ortega from Pomona College. And with great gratitude to Leonard Ponco, my role model inspiration for all this. And I hope that I can continue to work and preserve his legacy of creating Asian fusion plays, which express important stories which you all must know about. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. All the best, Mark.